In this video, I'll be making the Baked Alaska, history's sexiest ice cream cake. Then I'll bake it, torch it, and finally set it on fire. Can my Baked Alaska take the heat? At the end of this video, we'll cut open my cake and find out. Let's get started. To make a Baked Alaska, you just need 4 to 4.5 pounds of your favorite ice cream, a layer of your favorite cake, and some Swiss meringue. And we're starting with the ice cream. So how do you select a bowl for your Baked Alaska? There are two things that protect our ice cream when it's in the oven from melting. First, we have a layer of cake under the ice cream that provides insulation. And for it to work, the layer of cake needs to cover the entire bottom of the ice cream. And for this reason, we need to select a bowl in which the widest part of the bowl, where we're going to be putting our ice cream, is a little bit smaller than the base of our cake. The second way that we protect our ice cream when it goes into the oven is with the whipped eggs, the whipped meringue that we will completely insulate our cake with. Why? Because whipped egg whites are an excellent insulator. This was created to be both a delicious dessert and a scientific experiment. It's critical that you cover the entire inside of the bowl with plastic wrap and let it hang over the sides. Otherwise, we have no chance of getting our ice cream mold out of the bowl once it's frozen. Let your ice cream soften before adding it to the bowl, and this will make it easier to spread. And now we're going to layer our ice cream. You can choose 2 or 3 different kinds of ice cream. Here we're going to start with a delicious sour amaretto cherry ice cream, and then we're going to move on to a beautiful nutty pistachio and finish it off with a dark chocolate hazelnut. Now we just need to add the ice cream, softened. Choose 2 to 3 flavors that go well together. We are using amaretto gelato for our first layer, and we are adding enough ice cream into each layer to fill up 1/3 the height of our bowl. It's totally optional, but I'm going to put a little bit of shaved chocolate between my layers in order to make them more pronounced and also to give a little bit of a interesting texture. Our pistachio ice cream, gelato in this case. If you'd like your ice cream cake to have distinct layers of ice cream, freeze the ice cream for about 2 hours between each layer. We are only freezing the ice cream before adding our dark hazelnut ice cream. And finally, our chocolate hazelnut ice cream. We are filling this ice cream almost to the top of our bowl, and then it's time for the cake. We've made a dark chocolate chiffon cake, which we'll show you how to make in another video. Be sure that the cake is cool before adding it to the ice cream. And of course, when we flip our final cake upside down, this cake will become our base layer, our bottom layer, and will protect our cake from the heat coming from the bottom of the oven. If your cake is slightly too large, give it a little trim. Now we're going to pop our Baked Alaska in the freezer for at least 2 hours or even overnight. And in the meantime, we'll create a beautiful Swiss meringue to coat the entire outside of the cake. If you've never made a Swiss meringue, now you'll learn how easy it is. Swiss meringues are highly versatile. Swiss meringues are used for making pavlovas, toppings for pies, and even frosting for cakes. Let's get started. To make a Swiss meringue, we just need a few ingredients: egg whites, a pinch of cream of tartar, a little bit of vanilla, and fine granulated sugar. We'll start by separating our eggs. Always separate eggs while they are cold in order to get a clean separation. I also recommend that you separate the white from the yolk in a smaller bowl, just to be sure that you've got a clean separation before transferring the whites to the communal bowl. To make a Swiss meringue, we need to use a double broiler. Add about 1 inch of water to the bottom of a saucepan, and we bring it to a simmer. So first we're combining about 2 1/4 cups of granulated sugar with the whites of 12 eggs. There are 2 parts to making a Swiss meringue. First, we need to dissolve the granulated sugar into the egg whites, warming the mixture while whisking continuously. At first, the eggs and sugar will be dense and hard to whisk. Then the sugar will dissolve and the mixture will be thin and easy to whisk. and finally the eggs will begin to froth. At this point, we need to watch our temperature really closely, whisking continuously. And when we reach the desired 160 degrees Fahrenheit, we need to continue cooking and whisking the eggs for another 15 seconds, making this meringue safe to eat without any further cooking. And then it's time for step 2. Whip the warm egg whites on high speed for about 5 minutes, or until you have very firm to stiff peaks. We are adding a little bit of cream of tartar for extra stability, and a half of a vanilla bean for extra flavor. And we're using a stand mixer to do the job, but you can just as easily use a hand mixer. Very firm meringue. Our little points stand up straight with a tiny little curve at the top. At this point, it's time to add the insulation to our ice cream cake, the meringue. Here's our silicone piping bag with a large nozzle. I'm immediately transferring my Swiss meringue to a pastry bag because I want to pipe it on my cake and create a fancier decoration. You can simply spread the Swiss meringue on the cake if you prefer. Since this cake is going into the oven, I'm going to assemble it on a heat-safe baking tray. And here's our frozen ice cream cake. We've left it overnight to make sure we are starting with a very cold mass of ice cream. If your ice cream won't pop out, briefly warm the outside of the bowl with hot water, or take a blowtorch to the outside as I'm doing here. The ice cream mold should pop right out. Fantastic. It doesn't matter if it's not perfectly smooth on the outside, because of course we're going to be encasing it in Swiss meringue. And now we want to quickly encase our entire cake with Swiss meringue. Now I like to start by actually just putting a smooth layer of Swiss meringue all over the cake. And that gives us a nice base so that when we go to pipe, we already know that we've covered the whole cake with a base layer of Swiss meringue. The Baked Alaska was created to demonstrate a scientific discovery of the 1960s, the discovery that whipped egg whites act as a wonderful insulator. This dessert was also intended as a political statement at the time. It was designed to poke fun at the United States purchase of Alaska from Russia, a purchase that was considered by many to be foolish at the time. As you can see, the entire cake is covered aside from some of the bottom, which we're going to pipe on. And now for some decoration. The Baked Alaska. It's not just delicious, which oh it is, but the Baked Alaska is also an awesome scientific experiment. And now we're ready to put this ice cream cake in the oven. Now I've noticed that most cooks online lose their nerve when it's time to bake this ice cream cake. They just use a measly blowtorch to toast the meringue. This isn't nearly as exciting as popping an ice cream cake into the oven and recreating an amazing scientific experiment. That's why today we're gonna do it the right way, just as they did when this dessert made its debut. Now, if we want to, we can enjoy this baked Alaska right now. It's ready to eat. However, I know from experience that inside, the ice cream is still rock hard, and it's gonna be a little tricky to cut it open. So I'm thinking, why not take this a step further and make this dessert even sexier, if that's possible? Let's flambe it. If you like this video or learned something new, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more recipes like this from Italy and beyond. Click the bell for new video notifications. E buon appetito!